In this video, I'm going to break down, review and theorise about The Boys Season 5, Episode 7, and talk about why I think they still need to finish in Episode 8, the last episode of The Boys ever. There are 65 minutes left. To start off, Homelander gets Ashley to read President Calhoun's mind, and she confirms to him that he's just terrified of him and thinks he's psychotic, and he takes him out. And we keep seeing Ashley being scared but still continuing to help Homelander, and later when she argues with her head and it's saying just to leave, she overcomes it with remembering that she is vice president and enjoys it. But in doing this, her head says she would rather die than do what she's doing, and now refuses to talk to her. So I think there's going to be a time where Ashley needs to read someone's mind, but her head refuses, and she will die because of it. She's had so many opportunities to get out, but she doesn't. She's, without being some chaotic soup, is a big part of what's wrong with Vought. So really, she's like the Deep. She's scared, but still keeps helping Homelander. Homelander taking out the president is the closest we've got to a fraction of what the promo poster suggested, in Homelander causing chaos and everything burning. Now I understand it never had to look like that, but I do hope we see something like it in episode 8. Homelander has Soldier Boy cryo-freezed again. I would love if he's just kept there to be picked back up again during Vought Rising. I know it's a prequel, but I want there to be more scenes set after the boys. A bit like with what Better Call Saul did. Them just keeping him frozen would allow them to kind of just pick up on Soldier Boy whenever and wherever they want. Now Butcher could open it next episode and tentacle him, but I hope he's left alone. It just makes Vought Rising that much more interesting if he's still out there somewhere. Although he gave Homelander the V1 for Stormfront, he's so disassociated from him.
What I want is to get away. You're too weird.
And I can see Homelander just being happy enough with him frozen there, as that's the only way he's going to stay in his vicinity. With that being said, there's still Ryan. He's mentioned Ryan, and he's been mentioned to him when Homelander told him what he did to Stormfront. There could be something there. Maybe that's how one of them died. There's also MM. Of course, Soldier Boy killed his family years ago, so he could get revenge, but I think a big part of his story has been him fighting needing that and not getting it. We saw, after talking to Countess Crow and being reminded of how he was, back when they thought they'd killed Soldier Boy, he wasn't really happy with it. He didn't need it. He didn't celebrate it. They're already on the way to have Soldier Boy kind of redeem himself by not agreeing with Homelander. So I think justice for MM's family, if Soldier Boy's not killed in this episode, would happen in Vought Rising in a scene set in the future, and that's not necessarily death. It could be losing his powers. It could be changing his ways. Starlight and MM meet up with Marie and Jordan Lee from Gen V, and they give them information on O-Father, and for a bit, they're pushed to the side. But then at the end, Starlight and MM go back to them when they bring them the survivors of O-Father's gathering, and they take them back on. So sure, they could use Marie to get her to take the V1 or the V out of Homelander's blood, but a big part of this episode is Frenchie basically dying to give Kimiko Soldier Boy's powers. And that's what I find so interesting about Frenchie's death. Homelander being disrespected by someone who he didn't love in his own weird way, like with A-Train. Surely Homelander would put his fist through his head or his chest and instantly do him. But from what we saw, whether from the weakness from the uranium or wanting Frenchie to suffer in there, he didn't give him that fate. Because Frenchie grabbed his plums and what he said to Homelander, people said that he lasered them off, but I don't actually think he did. In a BTS shot, they showed that Frenchie had like a prosthetic stomach pouch thing so that Homelander could punch through it, and apparently it was a real filmed scene, but they cut it so that you're kind of left guessing what happened to him, and they can do that reveal at the end. But I would have rather had that and, you know, cut the horrific smelling scene out. I think the only times the boys could go too far is when it's not funny, and this was genuinely just horrible to watch. It wasn't even silly funny. I've never seen a cat sniff a dog's arse. I don't know what that's about. It would be funny if they didn't like each other because they're cats and dogs. He just punched him in the stomach, and it's still vague what exactly the damage to Frenchie was. And he is intact, so Marie could bring him back. Her power is blood manipulation, and when we last saw her in season 2 of Gen V, she brought her sister back. So from not needing Marie anymore because she can't control her powers, in Starlight's words, to now needing her. So in the boys' universe logic, she could bring him back. What we also saw Marie could do in Gen V is hold people still, which I think will be a big part of having Kimiko able to blast him without him flying off, which I do think is a really good and not over-involved way of having a Gen V character do something significant but not too significant to where it kind of takes away from the boys. I still think Butcher will be the one to do it. Kimiko blasts him, Butcher and Homelander both fight.
Scorched earth, shock and awe, blood and bone. In the end, only one of us left standing.
Homelander abolishes the Seven, and the Deep now hasn't really got anything. He's being blamed for the 1.4 billion fish that died, and the Samuel L. Jackson hammerhead, Xander, said water is off limits now, and he was filmed not saving someone who's drowning because he's that scared. So there's nowhere for him to go now. He can't go to Homelander, and he can't go to the water. I would love to see him escape or become good, but I think the show just won't go there. I think he's going to end up going to the water, and something will happen to him. Likely something related to the popcorn bucket, with his mouth or head being in involved. A big sea animal eating him.
A shark that couldn't stop.
Synapse captures Butcher and Hughie while they're scoping out O-Father, and he turns into Kessler. I loved it. He was definitely more Negan-like than season 4. He tells a story from Butcher's mind of their time in the military, and how Butcher just wanted the target. Kessler said the target wasn't worth it, but Butcher didn't budge. They were surrounded. Butcher got his target, but he was the only member of the unit that survived. So this, I think, foreshadows one of two things. One, Hughie's going to be the one to talk Butcher down out of doing something as big as wanting to get rid of all the soups. Or two, of course, he's the one to kill Butcher like in the comics to stop him from doing that. Where we'll put everyone in danger to get the target once again. It's been foreshadowed all season and I don't like it. Butcher, I think, will want to kill all soups, but every other character won't, and they will get in the way. He won't let Butcher get Starlight killed. And this in the show could be a huge mistake because of one simple thing. What I've started to notice recently from a lot of people commenting is they don't like Hughie. This season, this more tough version of him, it almost comes across as a bit annoying. The way that they use him as the instrument to voice that Butcher is wrong. In making Hughie this tough version of himself, it reduces what made him endearing in the first place. And frankly, I think it worked in the comics what he did, because he was a Hughie that was less sure of himself and more weaselly. Butcher antagonises him to take him out, and after what he's done, you kind of support Hughie for doing it, but Butcher hasn't killed Frenchie, and I don't think he's going to kill Kimiko and MM, so if this happened in the show, people love Butcher, so are people going to be happy? Will they think this works? If Hughie kills Butcher when a lot of people either don't like him as much or just don't like Hughie, they will have to be really careful not to make it a situation where the annoying character that has been annoying all season takes out the character that everyone loves. So it's risky. Maybe Butcher's story of revenge ending in him dying is the most fitting, but with Hughie doing it, it might not work. It's not as commendable seeing this toughened Hughie kill Butcher. If Hughie was the nervous, weaselly, scared, and frankly likeable character he was, it would be more commendable, but with how he is now, it'll just be an irritating character taking out the most beloved character in the show. Synapse gets all the details of their plan of giving Kimiko Soldier Boy's powers and where they are, and he tells Homelander, and he goes there, and I loved it. It was such a good scene. Frenchie safely puts them in the zinc vents so Homelander couldn't find them, and he draws him out to him. They did a good job at making Homelander scary again. It was really sad just seeing Hughie and Butcher's reaction to it after 7 years of the show. It's quite surreal to see something like this. And again, he could come back, but the sentiment was he's basically given them the key to kill Homelander. He brought Sage in to help and even changed her a little bit to be a good person, and for the whole show he's saved Kimiko and he's done his job. I feel like people think all soups need to die in the next episode, but that's just what Butcher wants to do. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. I don't think it will, because other shows are going to happen. So not all soups or all characters need to die. Nor does every single thing need to be dealt with in this episode, because other shows and projects can happen. Even Butcher could appear in another show, because this show was about the boys and the mission to take out Homelander and defeat Vought. With Frenchie gone, the boys aren't the boys anymore, and when Homelander's gone, they've done their mission, so a lot of these characters could really appear again. I really liked the episode, but what do you think? Did you think it was good? What do you think will happen in episode 8? Let me know what you think down below, and make sure you check out these videos on your screen. You'll really like them. Press the like button on the video if you enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe with the notification bell set to all so that you're the first to see my videos. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.